What's up, sports fans? It's your man D back. Speak Your Mind Sports Talk. All right, check it out, everybody. This is another episode of You Idiot, but kind of with a twist. It's a ride along, you idiot. And this one goes out to Bruce fucking Vane. You idiot. And let me break it down why I'm calling Bruce an idiot today. And Bruce, congratulations to you for making this episode of You Idiot. So here we go, guys. So Bruce Vane comes out with a video saying Canelo Alvarez is suing for his right to cherry pick. Let me repeat this. Canelo Alvarez is suing for his right to cherry pick. Bruce Vane, you idiot. You know, it's amazing to me some of the things these guys come up with. And he actually said a couple of things in that video that I can actually agree with. I won't lie, the whole video, and I'll give Bruce Vane respect for this, even though he's still on this episode of You Idiot. Give respect where respect is due. And I encourage you guys to go look at the video because he says some really significant things and some things in that video that I actually agree with about Canelo. Some things in that video that I've actually said myself about Canelo, although I'm a fan of Canelo, because certain things are reality. And when you can't accept the facts and the reality in certain situations, that's what makes you a fanboy. And Bruce Vane did bring up some really significant points. And, you know, touche, Bruce. I do agree with you. I do agree with you that Canelo was built off of the tail of Floyd Mayweather. Canelo is the face of boxing by default. And if you guys want to hear why he said those things, go listen to the video. And I actually have no argument with Bruce on some of those things he said concerning that, okay? Because the sport is in a bad state right now, you know? And the points he was making about why we had to have Canelo as the face of boxing, as that guy in boxing, I would agree with him. It had a lot to do with the Floyd Mayweather situation and the fact that boxing in general is not where it should be as a sport in totality. So, touche to that, Bruce. But concerning Canelo Alvarez suing for the right to cherry pick, Bruce, I had to give you a you idiot for that, okay? Because here's the thing, Bruce Vane. Although you said some things that, you know, were very valid and true in that video, the man is not suing for the right to cherry pick, you idiot. And let's talk about this cherry picking. You can sit up here and say he won't fight the best competition. He wants to bounce around this and he wants to bounce around that. But the question I will ask you, Bruce, is who beats him? Charlo? Andrade? Plant? BJS? Who beats him? What do you want Canelo to go up to 175 and compete there? It gets to a point where if it's Canelo or anyone else, you're asking for too much. So what, Bruce? You can call a lot of people fanboys, and there are a lot of Canelo fanboys. Me, personally, I'm not one of them, because first and foremost, a fanboy would never agree with some of the things you said in that video, and I actually do. But the big thing is here, Bruce, if you're going to say that he's cherry picking, if you're going to claim that, you know, he's ducking fights or not taking the right fights that'll get him there, well then, Bruce, I would ask you this. Who beats him? Because I don't understand how when fighting a GGG twice, first time it was an argument about the fight, so you go ahead and clear it up and fight him again. When this was considered the toughest opponent, when many people thought GGG beat him the first fight, but he went back and he did it again. I don't see fighting a Danny Jacobs when people thought Danny Jacobs could beat him. I don't see moving up 2 weight classes, regardless of what you want to say about Sergey Kovalev. I don't see these as cherry picks, but a hater would. A hater would. You see? Now, I'm not going to sit here and call names. I'm not going to sit here and accuse you of being a hater like you accuse so many people of being a fanboy. You didn't accuse me of being a fanboy. You just accused people with the wrong outlook on Canelo Alvarez as being a fanboy. But I will call you an idiot, Bruce Vane, because the facts of the matter are you have to have those opponents that are out there to beat him. And Bruce, you can't give me an opponent from 160 to 168 that will beat him. You can't. And even if you did give me an opponent from 160 to 168 that you believe would beat him, Bruce, tell me which one of those champions he did not make an offer to. You idiot. And now let's move on to the lawsuit that you claim he's only suing for the right to cherry pick, Bruce Vane. Well, here's the thing, Bruce. I don't give a rat's ass if the zone found out later that Canelo Alvarez wasn't the draw that they thought he was. Because this is your reasoning, Bruce. You idiot. That the zone figured out now that Canelo's not the draw that they believed him to be. Well, you know what that's called, Bruce Vane? That's called a bad business decision. You idiot. So, because the zone made a bad business decision, Bruce Vane, you idiot, then Canelo Alvarez has every right to sue them, Bruce Vane. He has every right to sue them, Bruce Vane, because the facts of the matter, Bruce Vane, is that they cannot live up to their contractual agreement. It is not Canelo's fault that they signed him and said that we will pay you this, we will pay you that. And now between them and Golden Boy, they're having a problem finding this fight. Bruce Vane, you idiot. It has nothing to do with Canelo. So what? The zone figured out that Canelo wasn't the biggest draw that they thought he was. That's called a business decision. They took a risk on Canelo, and they took a risk that didn't pan out for them. Does that mean they still not supposed to pay him that money? You idiot. No, it doesn't mean that. And when someone breaches a contract, which I believe I told an idiot this too, when someone breaches a contract, whichever party breached the contract, the other party has the right to sue them. Bruce Vane, you idiot. So it is not about suing for his right to cherry pick, because the zone and Golden Boy, they could bite the bullet, Bruce Vane. The zone and Golden Boy could say, yup, we messed up, but we're going to have to eat this. The zone and Golden Boy are not setting him up with a fight. And what are they doing, Bruce Vane? They're not allowing him to make money. They're not allowing him to continue building on his career because they're having money problems, because they don't want to pay this and they don't want to pay that, Bruce Vane. But does that mean that Canelo's suing for the right to cherry pick, you idiot? No, it doesn't mean that. It means that he's suing because of a potential breach of contract. You idiot. So, again, Bruce Vane, I do agree with you on some points in that video. But the main point, the title of that video, and the point that you were trying to make is that Canelo Alvarez is suing for his right to cherry pick. And for that, Bruce Vane, for that, my friend, I had to give you a big, fat, you idiot. So keep doing what you're doing, Bruce Vane. I would say you were partially right in that video. But when it comes to the fact that Canelo Alvarez is suing for the right to cherry pick, who can beat him at 160 to 168? Who is this competition that you're talking about that he's running from? Is it Demetrius Andrade, which you claimed before, whose best win is Vane Monterosian? Is it Demetrius Andrade that you claimed before, Bruce Vane, who only won belts and vacant titles and never defended them well? Is it Demetrius Andrade, Bruce Vane, who literally, out of the 160-pound champions, have the worst resume, especially since Jamal Charlo is fighting Sergey Derevryanchenko. And it's not because he's fighting Sergey Derevryanchenko does Andrade have the worst resume, because without Sergey Derevryanchenko, he still has the worst resume. So who is he ducking? Who is he ducking, or who is he not willing to fight at 160 to 168? Bruce Vane? Who? You can't have no expectations for this man to jump up 2 weight classes and campaign there. That means you're only looking for a guy to get beat. That's not about challenging yourself. That's about going the extra mile, doing more than you should be expected to do, because he's a 160-pound champion. Soon probably to become a 168-pound champion if he does get into this fight with Yildirim for the vacant title, Bruce Vane. But who is out there for him to be ducking? Who is the competition out there for him not to be taken? Who is the competition that you're making these claims about, Bruce Vane? Who is the competition available for Canelo Alvarez to be suing so that he could cherry pick? You know, this is what I would like to know. Who are these people, Bruce Vane? They're not available. So I will tell you this, Bruce Vane. Decent video. I do agree with some of your points. But as far as Canelo Alvarez suing so that he can cherry pick, Bruce Vane, you idiot. Cut it out. And y'all know how I always in this thing. For the love of sports, let's talk about it. Peace.